various forms of therapy, different approaches. How does Crystal Stix help with some of those things?
There are some psychotherapists who use Crystal Stix as part of a therapy program, and they have found numerous benefits that come from it. My approach has been one of a healthy approach. In other words, I want to take a healthy individual and then make them better in the sense that they have a developmental tool or developmental device. If a person has a condition that requires therapy, and I suspect that most of us at one time or another in our lives require some kind of therapy, certainly counseling, this Crystal Stix allows the therapist to have an activity that creates presentness on the part of the person getting therapy. Let me say that a little clearer. One of the reasons why people tend to need therapy is that they're emotionally spread out a lot of places, and if you thought of their emotional presence maximizing at 100%, they probably would find that most people are emotionally all over the place and not exactly where they are. But a physical action or physical activity requires an emotional presence. You have to be present and active and alert in order to keep it from falling or to keep the activity going. So to that end, therapists have been able to take advantage of this presence, this presentness that gets created, to discuss things that have an emotional charge to them, while allowing maximum attention and a maximum emotional attention as well to be focused on those subjects. If I'm actively doing sticks and you're talking to me, I'm having to be spontaneous, I'm having to be here in the moment, and then it's not as easy for me while I'm doing sticks to make up games in and around the subject matter that we're talking about. I have to access, I have to talk, and if there's an emotional charge there, then it's going to come out. In other words, if it's too strong of a charge, I'll drop the sticks, or if it's too much of a tangent off of where I am, then I'll actually stop doing the sticks to talk, which should be an indication to the therapist that something's going on there. As I developed myself personally with sticks, I learned a few things about this breaking of attention. I used to think that I could concentrate and really focus on things, but as I played with the sticks, I was made to understand from dropping the stick that my attention would wander. I call that going off on a tangent sometimes. In other words, I'm thinking of something, and for some reason it emotionally embroils me to the point that it takes me away from whatever action I was engaged in at the moment. Those tangents happen all the time with us, and we don't necessarily realize how often they happen. As a result of doing the stick activity and the amount of attentiveness required to maintain, I became aware that if I started to think too much and go off in too much of a direction, especially those that emotionally embroiled me, then that would take me out of the present. And obviously, if I'm not in the present and the stick moves require you to be there, you would drop them and wake up and go, oh, where did I go? The stick activity keeps you so focused and so present, and with that emotionality rewarding you for successful actions, a therapist then can take advantage of that and explore areas in a person's life that are difficult to deal with otherwise. Also, it addresses this need to be doing something. I've heard of people playing basketball, for example, and how they would think of things they've studied while playing, and it allows it to fix it to the physical. And the same thing happens with the crystal stick activity. When you're doing a physical activity and thinking of emotional things, or emotionally charged things especially, you fix them to the physical and leave an outlet in some way for the emotionality to take place, for someone to emotionally discharge the tensions that would build up. Also, in our genetic makeup, we have a predisposition for movement, for action, to react, to run, to jump, to scurry around to find food, to hunt food, and all of the things that that entails. So the crystal stick activity allows you to take these predisposed energies, turn it into an activity that can thus reflect the activity in the body. In other words, you can take this activity and allow it to be an exercise that uses up this tension and this stress-related energies that take place, and take advantage of the cumulative effect that takes place whenever you learn this activity. The activity starts to compound on itself, and kind of like strands in a rope, your muscles develop, your emotions get stronger and more evenly distributed, and mentally you're able to focus on things with emotional charge and put movement in and around those areas of emotional charge and get some release of it or some digestion of it, which is one of the key elements here, and that is the Crystal Stix done on a regular basis allows you to digest the emotions that come up and would normally get fixed in the body unless you find some method to release them.